Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the top 25, I believe it's 25, the top 25 rarest diecasts in my collection. There's a couple guidelines, a couple rules of what we're going to go off of, and there's also a couple things I want to say about it. Firstly, there's three rules, excuse me. Rule number 1 is that canceled cars and or prototypes do not count. Rule number 2, it had to have been released normally, you could find it in a store, or like a theme park. There's a couple theme park exclusives. There's 2 on this list. And rule number 3, if it got re-released, it does not count. That doesn't go for if I were to put let's say Ben Crankleshaft in this video, which I will not. He would be in this video, except I do not have him. But if he were to be in this video, he would still count, even though his semi didn't get released. The full haul version is rare, while the semi version is not, so that would count. But without further ado, I should probably say that there is a lot of interesting stuff in this video. I originally wanted to do 13 in the About section of my channel. I did have 15, but there's just so many, and I originally recorded this, and it took a pretty long time, but in the end I realized that I had actually forgotten a bunch of the cool stuff, so I decided to go 25. And here we are. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so here we are with Christoph and Sadeep. I believe I forgot to mention that this list is in no particular order, although there is definitely some cars on this list that are an extreme amount, how do I phrase it, a lot rarer than some of the others. For instance, if I were to, let's just straight up say I do have, no, let's not spoil it. But if I were to have, say, Lenticular Mia, she might be a whole lot rarer than Danico Cruz. So pretty there's no, opinions on which one I think is more rare or anything like that. But we're here to take a look at these two, not talk about that. Let's start with Sadeep. Just the simple, what's it called, chase race lot model. Well, same with Christoph. Don't go to the comments ranting about, oh no, they have a different spoiler. I'm not exactly sure. I don't care about what the spoiler type is. They obviously are a little bit different, but this type of next gen is the chase race lot type of next gen, and the Danny Swervez type of next gen is the one that Shreeram is. This guy looks pretty good with his dark green. It actually looks pretty light with the I have the the LEDs on. Kind of it's hard to see, but if you were to take it out of focus, you would be able to see how it's like a greenish yellow color. If we just turn that off real quick, which I can do right here, you can see that the green is actually much darker, and it also looks really good. Next up, we have Jerry Recycled Batteries, who is probably the one you'd least expect to get expensive, but he is in fact rare nowadays. He was released in both the Race-O-Rama line and the Final Lot collection, although I believe the Race-O-Rama one is a bit more common if you wanted to get one packaged, although I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at it on eBay. That's what I base all of my pricings and all that off of. Here he is. I got this guy for my birthday in 2019, so it would have been really early 2019. Of all the ones you'd expect to not get released at least 3 times, of course he was released twice. Since this guy actually had 2 or 3 speaking lines, at least one, in the movie, while the others did not have any. Of course, he opens in the weirdest way possible. If you can get the camera to just kind of sit right there, you see it can open like that. And then you just kind of slowly push him back in. I'm gonna pop it back in. Of course, like all of the other non-race team haulers, he was re-released in 2017 as an RSC. However, that doesn't include Oliver Lightload, who was not released in the RSC line. Keeping with the trend of haulers, here we have Paul Valdez, who of course appeared in Cars 1, and I believe it was during the scene in the original movie where they're kind of panning around the country or certain places around the country, and he's at one of the truck/rest stops, and he's like, of course, drinking this can of oil. I believe that's where he appeared. Unfortunately, we didn't get a whole lot of the race team haulers. We need more haulers no matter what. Who cares if they re-release haulers? We just need more of them. We were so close to getting the Shiny Wax hauler. I don't know how many of you guys might know this, but the Octane Gain hauler actually did come out in 2017. Not the Cars 3 line, the 2017 line, the line that could have been, and the one that was scheduled to come out after that was the Shiny Wax hauler, but of course due to Cars 3 he was cancelled. And back in 2010 he was also supposed to be released, but he was cancelled, and he was actually like just about to make it out. Like, he actually had promos at Target, like there was a poster at Target, it was like, oh, special deal, something like that. But enough about that. Here's Paul, of course. He's kind of a orangish, light orangish, kind of yellowish. Has a similar trailer to Gil. I believe it's actually like the exact same trailer. I don't know if it has, let's try to pop that off, turn that on the side. I believe it has the same, or at least a similar inside to Gil. I don't have Gil with me right here, so I can't tell. Let's pop him back into place, and you can kind of see how he opens. Definitely, it's pretty interesting. He's pretty rare now, worth maybe around $100, and luckily for me, I didn't have to pay that much, as I got this guy back in 2010 when he first came out. Continuing on with sticking with the trends, here we have another orange set of cars. This is Team Octane Gain, only released in 2010 in the Final Lap collection. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that they were only released in 2010 in the Final Lap collection. Chief Octane Gain is actually the only crew chief that has that model. He is, I believe, the same model as Charlie Cargo, although they might have a few small differences. And if they released the Vitaline crew chief, which I believe they should have, he actually was one of the more prominent, one of the more viewable crew chiefs in Cars 1. I believe they'd probably make him that model, although he's not exactly the same, but he definitely is, similar. He's personally my favorite crew chief that they released, and to Okola would have been my favorite if they had released him. Of course, Dudley Spare, I believe that's his name, was released as a single a couple of times. And then these other two, the Tall Pitty and the Short Pitty, or the Wide Pitty, were not released at all in any other circumstances. Actually, I forgot which Octane Gain Pitty they released. I believe they made the short one. I'm not exactly up to date on all of my, old releases. I'm a big fan of the expression on the, the Tall Pitty, who is in fact just a hair taller than the rest of them, or the Wide Pitty to be exact. And, cool little fact, the Octane Gain Wide Pitty does happen to come with a tool gun. Here are the only two next gens on my list. This is, of course, Steve Slick LePage on the right, and on the left you have Flipped Over. Both are currently still exclusive to the Next Gen 4-pack. The other two that were included in that pack are Barry DePedal, who of course has been re-released a couple of times, or a lot of times since that his original debut, and J.D. McPillar, who was still sort of rare, but he was re-released in an 11 pack, which nobody really bought. Let's take a look at Steve first. Of course, he has the dark green. It does appear black on the camera, but that's also due to the light. But if you do have him in real life, you will be able to see that he is an extremely dark shade of green. He of course has the legendary, the kind of chrome green color, which the foil, that's what it's called, that always tears off. Personally, I haven't had any problems with the foil coming off, but it definitely does make me scared for what could happen to him in the future. So I definitely do tend to be more careful with this guy than I do with the other weapons, although I never try to not be careful with him. And of course, this is one of my personal favorite of the pack. This is flipped over, the intersection next gen, in the very nice kind of reddish pink color, the white. Overall, it just looks really good. I'm a big fan of the expression, the kind of road pattern that goes across him. Overall, this is a really good next gen. If you remember, in one of the original trailers for Cars 3, there's a lot of speculation that this guy was actually the Taco Mint next gen, and even I myself was a believer in that, but of course, in the end, we were not correct. And here we have two certainly really interesting releases. These are the cleanup Pitties, the party Pitties, from, of course, the Cars 2 Movie Moments line. These particular versions of them, well, not versions, these two particular characters, they are different from the other two that were released in 2015. The pack they were included in was exclusive to Europe, the 2-pack with Miles Axelrod. And I got this, I believe, Easter of last year, Easter 2019. Right now, there's a listing for them for like $20 from China, even with the virus and all that. I still think that's a really, really good deal, and you should definitely go for it if you don't have these two already. And the only other one on eBay is worth around $80, so if you do want these guys soon, you should definitely check it out. I might leave a link in the description to it. This guy, of course, this is the only Pitty that has nothing in his hands, the only of the 4 that they made, but he also does have quite angry expression, as you can tell. And this one right here is the Pitty that cleaned up the fuel that leaked on the ground during the party. He of course has the brush, and an interesting thing I just kind of noticed is that's not like a natural thing he has. Apparently, it looks like this is some kind of device, and he just puts his forklifting thingies into the little slots, and then he can move it around from there. These are my personal 2 favorite Japanese party Pitties, although I can't lie, they're all really, really cool. And here we have yet another Final Lap hauler. This is Chet Boxcar. Of course, similar to both Ben Crankleshaft, Oliver Lightload, and Paul Valdez, he was exclusive to the Final Lap collection. The version without the trailer, of course, the semis, was released in 2017 in the Rarest line, but this particular version does have the trailer, and we can all agree that nobody likes it when they release the semis only without the trailers. Dale Ruffalo sucks, CB sucks, Dan Holland sucks, who else is there? I believe those are the 3. There's, trying to think of the other one, I feel like there's another. It's just not cool when they release it without the hauler, the trailer. Of course, the INC on the side stands for The Incredibles. This guy actually opens normally. You can just kind of put it up right there. You can drive a little car up. And on the back, I'm a big fan of all the details that they put on the back here. Got this guy back when he wasn't rare still, back of course in 2010/2011. So that's why you see that kind of mark, which I've got to get rid of that sometime soon. But of course, as I previously mentioned, I'm a big fan of all of the different designs and stickers he kind of has back here. All of the ones you'd see on the actual real life truck. It does have a pretty angry expression. I don't recall exactly where he appeared in the movie. Sometime during the highway scene, or the part of the movie. But still, he's probably my least favorite out of the ones they put out in the Final Lap collection, the non-team haulers. But he is not boring at all, certainly. And here we have two very interesting releases. This is the Bumper Safe Crew Chief and the Tall Bumper Safe Pitty. I got them together for around $40. And of course, let's take a look at the Crew Chief first. He is the same model as, it's the yellow fan. I forgot his name. It's like JW, that's his name. And then there's Jumpstart J Ward. That's what I was thinking of. Pretty simple design, just the nice teal color, which is fun to see with the lights on. Let's turn them off because it's actually really beautiful looking. There we go. Really nice light blue / teal color, like a sky blue almost. And of course you also have the Pitty. This is one of them that was exclusive to the multi-pack, which is also what the Bumper Save Crew Chief is exclusive to. The wide Pitty was not exclusive to that pack. He was re-released again in 2015. It is a different version though. But I still really need the short Pitty. And I kind of got scammed out of it by a Chinese eBay seller. They never sent me the item. I did get a refund, but it just really sucked. So I'm stuck with these for now. Certainly very cool. I believe that the Bumper Safe Crew Chief is scheduled for a re-release in 2020, but with the way it's going right now, I'm not certain that that'll actually happen. Here we have yet another hauler on this list. There is quite a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are still 2 more after this one, which are the final 2 out of those 6. This is the No Stall hauler, my personal favorite, along with the Vinyl 2-Pay hauler. Although I can't really judge since I don't have them all. I only have the select few of the Cars 1 haulers, although those are my personal favorites. I love any of those more than the, any of the Cars 3 haulers, both next gen and non-next gen. Although there's a couple cool ones, the Speedy Comet hauler, I love the way it fades, but Steve Karski is pretty cool. There's also Commaster, which isn't bad, but none of them can compare to any of the Cars 1 versions. Would have liked to put Sidewall Shine in this video, although he is not as rare as any of the other cars on this list. Let's take a look at the No Stall hauler first. Of course, the classic checkered pattern, which looks really good on any car, especially when it's the entire sponsor. The picture on him is kind of looking up, like all the next gens do, unfortunately. Kind of like a sad face. I'm not sure why he would have a sad face. And of course, this guy was actually released as a a semi back in the Race Around series. This guy is really hard to open. I did get this guy in a package back for my birthday last year as well. So pretty cool car. Actually, it might have been. Actually, yeah, it was for Christmas. But no one cares about how I got it or where I got it. All that we do know about this guy is that he is one cool looking guy. Here we have the first lemon on the list. This is Captured Professor Z, and you might have noticed on my About section in the schedule, I do have a video titled The Weirdest Releases Mattel Has Ever put out, which should be coming out next week, I believe. And this guy is the reason that I was inspired to make that video. I don't even know how many of you guys know that this guy even exists, but this is in fact an actual release from Mattel and not a custom that I or somebody else made. He was released in the 2012 line, and he was an exclusive to a large multi-pack, like an 11-pack, and it's not even like the multi-packs they do nowadays. This multi-pack had them all out, like, positioned, like Finn McMissile was holding this little back part, kind of holding him back, he was kind of scared, and there's all the other cars kind of surrounding him. I believe there's a variant of Don Crumlin that is exclusive to that multi-pack. I believe I got rid of it a while ago, though. I'm not sure which one is rarer. I definitely did keep the one that was correct. I actually don't have a normal Professor Z to compare him to, since that guy has gotten pretty rare nowadays. But I would take this off, but I don't exactly feel like putting it back on. But it is just a normal Professor Z without the monocle, and he does have an expression change. Instead of like the evil genius, he does have a similar mouth, but his eyes are kind of defeated. And he does have this kind of rubber band thing wrapped around him, of course, which is supposed to be the net that Missile caught him in. This guy, on eBay, the pack, when I looked it up a little while ago, the pack is currently being sold on eBay for around $80. So this guy, pretty rare. I also happened to get this guy back when he was in stores. Continuing on the lemons, here we have Fred Frisbowski, who was released alongside his partner in crime, Tyler Gremlin, who we will get to in a quick second. But first we're going to take a look at, of course, Fred Frisbowski, who is pretty much Acer with a bit of more yellow color. He's not even like a full yellow. He's still like a greenish yellow. Acer's a light green. This guy is more, yeah, of course, a yellowish green. So in that case, he's definitely not as cool as Tyler Gremlin. Tyler Gremlin is a bright red, and it is way more distinguishable from Grem or any of the other Gremlins. But Fred, he's just simply really close to all the other, Pacers, or especially Acer. If you turn that off, you can see how similar he looks to Acer. I don't know if I have one kind of sitting around, yeah. He's sitting over there. I'm not exactly close to him right now, but if you do know what Acer looks like, you do know that he looks pretty much exactly like this. It's even almost the exact same expression. Now, here is released, of course, in the Cars 2 line in a 2-pack with Holly Shiftwell, and that pack isn't as rare as Tyler Gremlin's either. Tyler's is worth, no, we'll get to that when I do Tyler next. But Fred's is worth maybe around $60 packaged, and loose he's maybe around $40, so who knows if he should even be on this list. I mean, he's certainly a rarity, but there might be some more other rare stuff that I might have missed, such as, like, Oil Stain Matter. I should have put him on this list, although there's definitely some cool stuff still. Anyways, that being said, Fred Frisbowski, probably my least favorite of the Pacers, just because he looks so similar to Acer. As I mentioned just a second ago, Fred Frisbowski is partner in crime with Tyler Gremlin, who is also a very rare 2012 2-pack release, and we still have another rare 2-pack from Cars 2 release. There's quite a lot of Cars 2 diecasts left on this list. There's actually some storytellers. I have not looked at that. Of course, Fred Frisbowski is really similar to what's his name, Grem. Although if you do, let's turn the lights off, just so you can see the color better. You can see that he is a very bright red, and Grem, while I don't have him here with me right now, of course, is kind of a medium orange, not dark. I think he's more of like a medium to light orange. He does have a slight expression change from Grem with the eyes and all that. Just a pretty simple gremlin with, of course, the hockey stripes. And he was released in a multi-pack with, I don't remember who. I want to say it was like Professor Z. I am not exactly sure, because I bought this guy loose for not an awful price, I don't think. But I didn't get him loose, but it would have been nice to get him packaged, since I, of course, as I mentioned when in the Captured Professor Z little part, I do not have the actual version of Professor Z. I just have the rare multi-pack version of him. This guy is my personal favorite gremlin. I also like Jay Kirby. Don Crumlin's pretty cool. I wish they released Sketch Slip Tire or Ryan Egg Turler, which are my personal names for the green gremlin who fell off the oil rig and the blue gremlin with the earpiece, respectively. You might remember that scene at the end of Cars 2, or at least close to the end, where Mater is kind of cornered by a bunch of the lemons, and they fight him off, and then they try to run, and then they turn the corner, and boom, they run into an entire wall of the British military, Josh Coolant, Sarge, Andy Gearsdale, a whole bunch of helicopters, some other cool releases. I wish we got some more of those. Right now we just have Josh Coolant, who only just now got released. Of course, Sarge has come out multiple times, and Andy Gearsdale was canceled, but this guy was not, even though he didn't appear in Cars 2, he did, of course, appear in Unidentified Flying Mater. Of course, he's kind of in a background character when he's kind of waiting to sneak in. He's like spying on the base. I believe you can see him just kind of rolling past on the ground. This guy was one of my must-haves for quite a long time. Back in the day, unless you found him in stores, he was probably worth around like $60. I eventually got him for my birthday, I believe, either birthday or Christmas of 2018/19. Of course, he is a Hummer. I say of course a lot. Similar to TJ and Hummer Sven. This guy, all the Hummers are unique. This guy, Hummer Sven is like the classic Humvee. TJ is, I don't even know. TJ is kind of like a Hummer H2, and this guy is another of the military-themed Hummers where it doesn't have the back part. Instead, it's covered with kind of like what's called a canopy. I'm also a really big fan of this guy's camouflage design. He was kind of partners in crime with, I said that again. I don't know why. With Captain Moonier, who was another military helicopter that was released from Unidentified Flying Mater. And he is also somewhat rare, although I don't think he is too rare, and he probably shouldn't be on the list. Continuing on with the Cars Tunes diecasts, here we have both the flashback, not really a flashback, but the scene from Time Travel Mater where he makes an appearance and kind of sells hubcaps. And we also have McQueen from when he opened his hood, or Mater opened his hood, and got him to get the what's it called, the new gas cap or something. It's something on here I can't quite tell. Automotive, yeah, Stanley's caps. I do have the Mater from the set. I did get the set packaged, and I do have the Mater. However, my room is kind of, all my stuff is kind of all over the place, and I wasn't able to find the Mater. He's there somewhere, but these are the only two that I was able to find. Trust me, he is out there somewhere. I tried looking everywhere, but I couldn't find him. Maybe he's underneath the table where I put a bunch of them. Anyways, this was both an online exclusive, and it was seen in the parks, right? At least Cars Land, I believe. Yeah, it was a 3-pack with Mater. Of course, the Mater I don't have right now. But the Mater, it does have kind of like a silly expression, and he has a clock instead of his infamous engine in there. Like, you can kind of see that little round part in the very middle would be a clock. Of course, this is one of 3 versions we got of Stanley. We had this version, which comes with the accessory. the wedding version, which we'll see in a second, and the statue version, because unfortunately he passed away. Definitely my least favorite out of the two Time Travel Mater packs, but they're not uncool by any means. Now here is the other half of the Time Travel Mater releases, of course still exclusive to both online and the Carsland Parks. This is Wedding Day Lizzie and Wedding Day Stanley, who are now worth an extremely high amount on eBay. I believe hundreds of dollars, 300 at least, just for these two cars. And luckily I did get these guys before they were that rare. They're still worth around like $50. And I got them as a gift, so that is definitely a win. Of course, Lizzie, let's take a look at her first, is her entire body is painted white instead of black. She has the wedding veil that you see in most weddings, with it's of course clear, and you have a bunch of flowers and trees, it kind of looks like, except they're carified, and a nice little addition of a little flower right here. Now another interesting one is Stanley. So this is what I believe what Stanley would actually look like painted black. He has this part, which he does have on the other version. Of course, that one is painted tannish. So that is an actual part of Stanley. He has the nice looking white tires. On the back here you have all the cans that he was dragging. You have the Just Married sign, and you also have his license plate, which reads 101S, 1015. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Might be some kind of reference to something else. Well, these two are really cool. I'm a big fan of the Time Travel Mater cars, although I do think they could have gotten more out, like some with more flashback, or not. I keep on saying flashback. I mean, it is an old scene. That we could have gotten some more of the whoever they were, the background old timers, like the other Model Ts and all that. Definitely a bigger fan of Lizzie here, but Stanley also looks really nice, especially with the white wheels, or the white tires. I am sorry for this, guys, but we still have one more hauler to get through after Oliver Lightload. This is Oliver Lightload, as I just said, and he is the greatest of all the non-racing team haulers. My favorite of all of them, I've already reviewed, and the other favorite of mine we will get to later on in this video. But let's take a look at Oliver. He opens up normally for once. You kind of turn that. You pick up both sides, turn it around, then you move it out. I did get this guy loose in 2017, and then you just kind of pop out that part. Let's actually take him off so we don't break his cab, which is what I'm really worried about doing. His mirrors are still really fragile. But you see, right here you kind of pop that out, and then if we can get it, like that. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's keep it like that for now. Put it back in. In the movie, he did appear at that truck stop that Mater and Mac, or not Mater, Lightning McQueen and Mac drove by, and he was sleeping. It did mention in the Meet the Cars book that he's not actually a hauler. He just kind of lives in the area and likes to go down to the truck stop to either like have a nap and chat with some of the other locals. On this trailer here, you can see Up. They're not even trying to hide it. It's literally the name of the movie along with the house, which is the main icon of that movie. He's the only non-racing team hauler to be released with that type of cab. All the others were either the Peterbilt or the you had Ben Kringleshaft, who was kind of different, a bit wider, a bit longer than the other ones. That's only a good one. He's worth a lot on eBay. At the time of recording this, there's actually 0 on eBay, and the one that did recently sell, going for like $120. So definitely a good steal for this back in 2017 for $40, and especially since he's one of my personal favorite haulers. Here we have a fun one. This is Tom Talk, and he was released in a 5-pack back in 2017, I want to say. He is a white Opel Corsa. I believe that's the name of the model. I don't know if it says it on the back. It does, but I am not able to read that because it is very, very tiny. Yep, it does say Corsa. I can just barely make it out. He was released in the Radiator Springs Classics line. I believe the packaging was at least similar. A notable re-releases among that pack were Chow Lightning McQueen and absolutely nobody else. He did appear in Cars 2 during the final race they had in Radiator Springs, where they're all just kind of having fun. They have all the hay bales lined up, and he's one of the fans that you can see like cheering off to the side. So he did in fact make an appearance in the movie, and he does happen to have the same expression that he did have in the movie. Pretty simplistic car. Got him in a pretty strange way back in 2017, maybe early 2018. This guy had only been found in the UK, Australia, a couple other European / Oceania countries. He had been found in Canada too, but of course the big major country that everybody seems to only talk about is the United States, and he never made it here except for a single store by the name of Ross. And Ross is not even a toy store. It's not like a grocery store like Target, or it's not called a grocery store. It's called something else. Ross is a clothes store, but they do happen to have a toy section. And somebody did find him at Ross, his pack at Ross, in the toy section. Disney Docket found him at Ross on that very same day. We happened to be going out. Asked my mom if we could go to Ross. We did, and boom, found this guy's pack for $15. And considering how rare he is now, those $15 were definitely worth it. He's been listed for like $70 loose, and there was one last year about a year ago for $40, which I don't know if anyone bought it. It would have been a huge steal nowadays, definitely. I don't know how much he's worth since nobody has really listed him for a while, but he's actually a pretty good-looking car, and he goes well with the other townies like Otis, and if you really wanted to, you could put him with the Radiator Springs John Lester. Let's not get off topic and continue on with the Opel Corsas. This is Bob Motor, who was in a similar situation to Tom Talk. Of course, only exclusive to Europe. I don't know if he made it to Australia or not. But he was exclusive to Europe, and I don't know if he made it to Canada. I believe he was a European exclusive, and back in 2016, I believe he was found at Ross stores. I didn't find him there. I believe there's at least one person who did find him there. But personally, I got this guy off of eBay for $30, or I didn't buy it. It was a gift for Christmas, but he was available from the Chinese eBay sellers for $30, which is a huge steal for him. And he is he is the same model, of course, as Eloy Hamburger, with a bit of a darker color. It looks really good with the lights off. Turn those off right there. You can see how much of a really nice blue that is, kind of like a light navy blue. Let's turn the lights back on. Looks really, really nice. He's a Carlo Veloso fan. His fan flag thingy, whatever you want to call it, hat, a bit messed up. That was not my doing. And he, of course, came like that since the Chinese eBay sellers don't really care about what condition the car is in. He does have a different license plate, at least, to read some random numbers. While, if you look at Tom Talk here, he has the Go Max license plate, which basically tells everybody that he's just a repaint of a Lloyd Hamburger. Well, this guy, he might be a repaint, but it appears that he at least has a different license plate, so Mattel did try. Here we have the twin of Bob Motor. This is Max Sakar, and I believe it was released in 2015, either that or 2016/17. But he was among those revealed, along with the unnamed Mini Cooper fan, Miko, who is the purple Porsche with the flag, who, if you don't know, go look up Disney Cars Miko, and you will see a prototype image of it from Take 5 today. There was the green Rules Rule fan, the BMW 2002, the Vic Vanley repaint, the pink one, and the two cameramen, of course. Though those last three were going to be exclusive to a 7-pack. The rest of them, though, were going to be in 4-packs, and Max Sakar, and Bob Motor were the only two of those that were revealed that actually ended up making it out. Bob, of course, way more common, way more common than Max Sakar, because Max Sakar is extremely rare. He was not found in raw stores, but instead still exclusive to the UK, and I even know some people in the UK who didn't find him, so both Bob and Max were still limited in the UK, even though they were released there. He is basically, I shouldn't say that, Heike is a repaint of him. Max Sakar actually did come first, and I'm actually a bigger fan of the what's it called, the line around the eyes. You can see Heike from right here. In fact, let me go get him real quick. Actually, no, my chair is kind of stuck in with a bunch of cars kind of surrounding it, because I don't have them on the shelves yet. It's just a simple Heike. And on the side, you have the Japanese flag. That's really the only difference. Of course, there's an expression. And they even have the same license plate, 02-28. And then at the top, some Japanese wording, and 122. Heike does have that exact same license plate. It doesn't look the same. It's more of a big rectangle rather than skinny thin rectangle. I got this guy for $90 off of eBay back in 2019, early 2019. That was the only one that has been sold since then. There was a single pack that was released. The pack had sold for still a lot of money, like 100. But I got this guy in a lot of cars from the UK, and bidding went up to $93, and we did get him. I mean, $90 on a car is a lot, but considering how rare this guy now is, he's basically canceled. So I do not regret that purchase. Keeping it good with another red car, here is Percy Handbrakes, who has a bunch of different names: Handbrakes, Handbrake, Handbrakes. I'm a fan of Handbrakes, since that's what he did appear as, both as a diecast and I believe the car finder. I was either the Meet the Car book or the car finder that had him labeled as Handbrakes. I don't remember which, but whichever one the diecast is what I'm going to go with for now. Now, you may be thinking that, how is this guy rare? He was released before Jonas Rivera, so it wasn't like his 3-pack, his Radiator Springs Classic 3-pack, got canceled for the US and was only released in UK. No, he actually made it to the US, and Jonas Rivera's pack was really prominent, and it still is on eBay and Amazon. But Percy's pack is not. Percy did make it to the US. I mean, I do know a couple of people who did report finding him at Toys R Us in the US. However, the difference is Jonas Rivera's pack is worth around $20 on eBay right now, and Percy's pack is nowhere to be seen on any website. I did find one, however, it's a Brazilian, for a good price. However, it is a Brazilian website, and it only ships to Brazil. So if you did want it, unless you live in Brazil, you will not be able to obtain this guy. I did get this guy back in 2018, or slash, I think it was 2017. It had to have been 2017 for Christmas. Back then, he was even still rare. Even if you went to a Toys R Us, it would be unlikely for you to find him. Of course, one of the retro townies looks really, really good with this red end. I believe he's a unique model, kind of like Edwin Cranks. He pretty much looks like every single retro model. Well, the Milton Caliper model and the Jonas Rivera model kind of meshed together, and they painted him red. And I'm definitely not complaining because he looks very, very slick. We have finally made it to the final hauler on this list. This is the Vinyl Toupee hauler exclusive to the Final Lap line, and I believe he was only found in Canada or something like that. Actually, no, that can't be true. That cannot be true because the Mood Springs hauler is found in the U.S. and he's more expensive than this guy is. This guy's worth around $80 maybe, less loose. But I got this guy back in 2017 for like $40, something like that. And I definitely am a big fan of that because not only does the bright pink of Vinyl Toupee look really good, I love his expression, excuse me. The decals look really, really nice. And a nice little touch is the completely black rooftop, which is present on both Krusty Rotor, I believe, on Krusty Rotor and the next gen. I don't remember if it's present on Rev Road, because I'm not, I don't have him here like with me right now. But the Vinyl Toupee hauler, my favorite. I mean, I only have 3 Cars 1 haulers. I'm about to have 4. It should either arrive today or tomorrow. Maybe I'll review him, but I do have Vinyl Toupee, No Stall, and Sidewall Shine. Of course, I also have Mac. Looking to get the Mood Springs one next. I get a couple cheap ones, even though he is pretty rare from what's it called, UK. Big fan of this guy. I think I may have gotten him from the same seller I'm looking at to get the Mood Springs hauler from. And then I have all of the Cars 3 haulers released so far, apart from the not the Punchy White Pet hauler, the Paul Conrav hauler. And also I have my own custom hauler, the Kenny Nets, the custom Clutch Aid hauler, which from Cars 1. I did make a review of him way back in 2017 when I still sounded like I was out of the womb. But that is actually currently my most viewed video at 11,000 views. I think it just hit 12,000 views a few days ago, so thank you all for making that video popular and making me popular. Thank you all for 750 almost. We're almost at 750. 3/4 of the way to 1,000. That is absolutely just incredible. I mean, I was expecting to get there at some point, but the way it happened is just amazing. However, we still have 4 more cars to go through next, so that is it for the Vinyl Toupee hauler, and let's move on to another set of cars, one of them being a similar color to this guy. Here we have that pink car as promised. The Motorama Girls, of course, only one of them is pink. The other 2 are either yellow or orange. I believe this one is Laverne, this one is Rhonda, and that one's Sheila. I'm very confident about Laverne, although these 2 might have gotten switched. I don't know. I got these girls loose for Easter of 2019. They went on a bid. There were maybe $90, maybe cheaper, $90-ish. So still really expensive, but an amazing deal for them. Unfortunately, they did come all chipped. You can see a couple of chips around Laverne. A very noticeable chip on the front fender of the pink one, and a couple other chips kind of scattered about. And then, of course, we do have the orange one, which is my second favorite behind Laverne, who looks really good in that yellow. A couple chips around here and there. Oh wow, that looks really, really good. Actually, I might like the orange one better than Laverne. She looks so good, although Laverne looks really nice too. I also like, the whole taillight rear bumper thing. She looks pretty cool and pretty futuristic, but not as cool as the other two. Wow, it's very blue in here. The lights are pink. You can see the lights are pink, not blue. Let's take it over here. It's blue. Why is it blue? That's not supposed to happen. 3 more cars are left after this. These guys are worth like $300 nowadays, so I'm very glad to have them. Even though they were expensive and they are chipped, but I mean, chips suck, but as long as you don't take that into account, these are definitely a good score and some really nice looking diecasts. There was only 3 cars left on this list, so I guess this guy is number 3. Although, of course, I did state in the beginning that they are in no particular order, and this guy is not even close to the rarest car in this list. However, he is still here on this list for a reason. That is because he is expensive. There's 2 online right now. One of them is for, I want to say it's like 60 maybe? I think that's an understatement. I think it's a little bit more. But there is also another one that is way more expensive. It's like 95. Actually, no, the other one went out of stock. And the only one left right now is for $95. So this guy is really rare. Got him back in 2017 for like $40. So huge deal, huge score, big win, epic moment. Of course, Stu appeared at the Florida 500 when they're interviewing, I believe it's Ryan inside Eleni. He can kind of be seen in the background, just kind of, sitting right there. I don't know how you would say that in car speak, because they can't sit. I guess it kind of is an expression. They'd use it in a similar way. You have the 017, and of course, this guy was exclusive to the UK as well, and other parts of Europe. He was released in the same case as the Cars 3 Lightyear Blimp and the Jocko Flacco Max Semi, who was released as the full hauler not too long after that. My phone will not stay up. You might need to get a new recording thing. I'm trying to show you guys how he opens, or not how, yeah. Let's do it like this, the old school way, where it just leans over like that. Or maybe we could do this, or problem with this is that it's very far out, so you'll see a lot of it. Yeah, this is where I'm recording now. This is where I used to record, so I'm wobbling now. Now I have this, and yes, this is in fact the Cars Encyclopedia. You kind of pop them open like that, and that's how, he came in the package like this, kind of floating above there. You just kind of snap him back in once you opened him. Really cool. We got the 3 big ones from Cars 3. You got Morgan Martin's, the ambulance, Stu Skyler Shields right here, the tow truck, and Tiny Logsworth, the fire truck. We're not going to be taking Shu out of frame yet, because we have another diecast that goes along well with him. This is the OG rare diecast, Race Damaged Mood Springs, who fits very well on a tow truck. This would have been a lot less painful for him in the first Cars movie, rather than being towed like the other type of tow truck. Let's get Stu out of here now, and let's also change the color to blue. Nice, that looks really good. Of course, this is Chuck Armstrong, and in the movie, he was being towed by the tow truck Tom. And he is just bent back and forwards, back and there and back, I don't know. One of his tires doesn't even touch the ground when he, if you put that down, only the other one doesn't. I mean, it's just a wild, this is how it's supposed to be, this is how he looked in the movie. That's a very good angle right there about how he did look. And he was released in the Final Lap collection as a single, so if you're wondering why he's rare, his case was produced in low quantities, and he sold out fast when he did make it into stores. Let's turn it back to white. See that very good color on him. Has his eyes closed, has his mouth open, has a bunch of scratches. I got this guy for $110 loose back in 2018, around the price that he goes for. I mean, actually, he goes for more now, like $200. but he does pop up every once in a while for like 120. Still a very good deal. Loose car, interesting release. The Holy Grail, the original rare diecast. And here we are with the final diecast on this list, and that will be Leland Turbo, released as well in a Cars 2 multi-pack with Finn Missile. Now, I don't even know how people found this guy. Personally, I don't know if he made it to Target and Walmart or any of those other large major retail stores. He did, however, make it to the Disney store, which does not sell Mattel diecasts anymore. The only time I saw them selling Mattel diecasts was the singular time I walked in there and I found this guy right here, this exact diecast that sits before you right now. I found him in there, his 2-pack just kind of sitting in the back there. They also had that entire case. I also saw the Mama Topolino pack. I don't remember if I believe I didn't pick that one up. But this guy looks really, really nice. I don't know if he's supposed to be modeled after a particular model. He does look similar to a lot of those old Jaguars. The red looks really nice, and of course this was the very first character to appear in Cars 2, and the very first character in the Cars franchise to literally die, and probably one of the most painful ways. You just saw his crushed up body, which luckily we didn't see. I mean, it would have been cool to see that scene, but Cars is mainly a movie marketed towards kids, so it's pretty understandable why they didn't put a video of a hero literally getting crushed to death. His black wheels look really nice, and he only has one mirror. That's not an error or it broke. It just simply gets one mirror. Otherwise, there would be some hole. There you can see it goes like way into into the side of his door. So yeah, the one mirror looks really nice. 63 Turbo. I'm guessing 63 stands for the year that this particular model that he's themed off of was made. Overall, really, really nice looking car. Pretty rare, worth around like $80. I think even more than that now. So yeah, definitely a steal for finding it in stores back in the day. Let's turn those lights off and let's get the rest of the cars back into the scene. So we can go with no stall hauler back here, looking really nice. Let's go. Oh, how about the Octane gang chief, or maybe we could get, oh, Tyler Gremlin. Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. A whole bunch of really awesome cars right here. Bob Motor and his twin. And there we go. Bob Motor's other twin. Right there, on top. I mean, there's I'm not going to put them all in there. Let's put this guy in the very middle. Anyways, this was a pretty fun video to record. This is the most editing I've ever done, even though it's not a lot compared to the stuff other YouTubers do. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.